This is the Little Moments Count radio podcast, created in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. Each episode, you'll hear interviews with early childhood experts on how to support the important brain development that takes place in the first 1,000 days of life, just through little moments every day. Learn more at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.
Ready, set, let's go. I'm doing this one for the culture. 98.9 FM. KRSM Radio. First, let me welcome y'all in. All right, bring me down a little bit. This episode of For the Culture is presented in partnership with Little Moments Count and Minnesota Public Radio. Little Moments Count is a statewide collaborative focused on helping parents and caregivers learn about the importance of brain development in the first 3 years of life. Nearly 80% of brain growth happens in the first 1,000 days, and small moments of interaction like talking, playing, reading, and singing help create the pathways that build a child's brain during these early stages of life. For more information, you can visit at littlemomentscount.org. For the Culture is excited to be partnering with Little Moments Count to host these conversations focused on early childhood development. There'll be guests every other week or so to talk about their involvement in Little Moments Count and how they view the role of early childhood development in creating bright futures and strong communities. So, Miss Kindra with an I, Kindra. Is the founder of Diva Moms, a community-rooted program supporting pregnant and postpartum African-American moms with advocacy, education, and care. They often don't receive, this is so true, they often don't receive in traditional healthcare settings. This is what they don't receive. They don't receive advocacy, education, and care. Right, that they often don't receive this in traditional healthcare settings. With over 30 years of customer service and experience, 15 years as a certified medical assistant and complaint resolution officer, and training as a doula, perinatal educator, and community health worker. She got a lot going on. Kindra brings both professional enterprise and lived experience to her work. Originally from Little Rock, Arkansas, shout out to Little Rock, and now a wife of 27 years, mother of 3, and grandmother of 5. Oh yeah, she in it. She is deeply committed to helping moms feel seen, valued, and supported because, as she says, she looks like the moms she serves. I always get tongue-tied on those intros because I just want to get to the conversation. Ms. Kindra, how you feeling?
I made it short and sweet for you. I tried to make it as short as possible. I am doing well. Thank you so very much for having me here. Thank you.
Yeah. So first, so people are listening if people are hearing you for the first time, what is Diva Moms?
Diva Moms, the acronym spelled out DIVA, stands for Dynamic, Involved, Valued African American Moms. Sometimes we shorten it and say amazing moms because women need to know that moms need to know that they're amazing. Being able to birth a child is amazing. Mm-hmm. So that alone is our acronym.
Why did you create it?
Let me correct that. I am not the founder.
Okay.
This program began on the back of Dr. Diane Bonigo, who is now relocated to Atlanta, Georgia. She's doing a great work down there in her midwifery. It is a program that came about, remember when Serena Williams and Beyonce had their birth experiences? Well, Black women had already been having birth experiences. However, with them shining a light on it and opening their mouths to say something, it became worldwide. Mm-hmm. Now we've got a magnifying glass on what's already been happening. And so in 2018, Dr. Bonigo and her colleague and our CEO, wonderful CEO, Reuben Moore, let me shout him out, Minnesota Community Cares, they made this program possible in partnership with the Department of Human Services. And with that, they wanted to be able to have women that look like the women that we're trying to make a difference in their lives. And it began from there. I partnered and came on board in 2019.
Okay.
And it's important to me because I've experienced it. I had a birth when I was 17. A lot of the teaching that I teach now, I didn't get. So it's personal.
Like what? Give me an example.
Nobody told me I needed to go to all of my appointments. Nobody told me that if you don't feel movement for a day, something's wrong.
Oh.
It's important. Those kicks count. So being a young black girl, trying to do all that I'm supposed to do, I'm carrying this baby. I ended up with a loss because a lot of the teaching that I teach in prenatal care and how to take care of yourself wasn't taught to me.
Got it. Yeah, so that answers my next question about why it was important. That's kind of like there's that old cliche, knowledge is power. It really is, right? Because just because you know it now doesn't mean that it's being taught, right? So like if it's something that you learned, you should be paying it forward anyway.
And sometimes what we learn, we put it in a jar because somebody down the line is going to need that information. Then you can take that lid off and be like, baby girl, I was in this class and you need to go talk to Miss McGee because she's telling us that we need to speak up. We need to be able to open our mouths in these appointments and try not to be aggressive, but get your point across. And if you don't know something or don't understand something, ask the question.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask the question.
Don't be afraid to ask the question.
Sorry, I got a lot of passion about the work that I do.
I like that. You on the right show. I like that because there's no way I don't get fed from these conversations as well. I'm a father of 7. I'm the oldest of 11. My youngest is 5. My oldest is 26 now. So I get fed. You're a doula and a perinatal educator. What is that? Can you break that down for us?
So perinatal educator, same as a doula. When you go through the COPE training, you learn how to take the information that doctors are giving to you and you explain it to the moms. So I'm basically an interpreter. When a doctor says to a mom, you've got hypertension or preeclampsia or whichever big medical word that they use, I take it in turn and turn it around and say, baby, your blood sugar, well, that's if they say hypoglycemia, your blood sugars are high. You pre-diabetic. That means that we're going to have to watch some things, or when they say hypertension, that means that your blood pressure is high. It's running on a higher scale. The average is what they want you to be is 120 over 80. That's average, But a lot of black people, and mind you, I'm not a doctor, but because I work with quite a few of them, and I've been in the medical field for over 15 years now, let me say it like this. Doctors went to school for 15 years. They forget that when they're talking to patients, that their patients not all of their patients have gone to school for medical, right? And so I try to even remind my providers, hey, what happened to plain English?
Yeah.
We need to speak plain English. Explain to her. And that's why I tell moms, ask your question. Don't be afraid to ask your question, because if they say something that you don't quite understand, now they giving you a piece of paper. Now you finna to go to WebMD or Google and try and figure out what it is, when they can come and talk to me or go through a class with me, break it all down. So it's the education portion that I give to moms, and for free if they just show up.
Got it.
And a lot of times I got raffle gifts that I give away too. Sure.
I love a couple of things. I love that you had to just show up. Most of life is just that. Sometimes you gotta just show up, and then you'll end up getting probably more than you bargained for. You also said, the importance of asking your questions. A lot of times we don't ask questions because we feel what it's going to make us look like, or whatever reason it is.
Sometimes it's intimidated.
It is intimidating.
We feel insecure because we don't know. But just because you don't know what that provider is saying to you doesn't mean that you don't have the right to ask the question. Just like they have the right to be the doctor, you are the patient. And I tell some of my moms, if your doctor isn't treating you right, you have the right and the ability to fire them and get you a new one. Get you someone who is going to respect you, respect your boundaries, respect your space, respect the fact that you are paying their bills.
Wow. And it seems simple enough, right? But it's like when you hear someone say it automatically gives you power a little bit, because it should be a basic human right? But like sometimes no. So what are some of the biggest challenges like that, that moms face during pregnancy and after having a baby that people might not realize?
Support in pregnancy, support postpartumly after pregnancy. But one important thing that you said, and I want to go back to just for a brief moment, you can't forget about dad. Okay, I've got some classes that are coming up in regards to co-parenting. Not everybody stays together when they make a baby, and that's okay. However, you created this baby together. Don't forget that dad wants to have a part.
Yes.
I don't care if he left you for another female. He still wants to have a part to do with that baby. And he has the right, especially if he's a good dude. We label too many fathers as deadbeats. We label too many fathers as no good. When we actually have some real good men out here that are trying to be there for their children. And I hope I'm not going to be too personal, and my husband, please forgive me if I am. However, when we got married, I got a bonus baby.
Yeah, I did too.
And in that bonus baby, we had to give our taxes away every year until she reached a certain age. I love my bonus baby because my baby girl, her and I are doing groups together now.
Look at that.
So look how the tables have turned, how God has turned it around. But it was a sacrifice on both parts. So we can't be afraid to let dads be dads.
Thank you for even saying that.
Y'all need to be lifted up more. And I know I'm probably going to get some haters on this, but too many of our men are being labeled as that. And they're not.
Yeah.
We need to put that label on some of these moms. We got some deadbeat moms out there. And I'm sorry to be the one to say it, but it is so true. I would rather see some children with their dad than with their moms. So,
hey,
what question did you ask me?
Look. We just talking. Okay. We just talking. A lot of people don't know how important the first few years of life are, right? Why are the first 5 years, why is that so critical for a child's development? Because
their brains are developing. You have a time and a space where you can create a great kid, or you can and these are my words, okay?
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect those of KRSM, Pillsbury Creative Commons, Pillsbury United Communities, or our community partners. This is Mike and Kindra talking.
Or Minnesota Community Care. Doesn't reflect on them.
Boom. Okay, go.
All right. So in that 0, and I say 0 because even while that baby is in the womb, they experience some stuff. If you're in a toxic place or around family that is not healthy for you, your baby experiences that. If you're dealing with anxiety, if you're dealing with fear, your baby experiences all of that. And we don't realize it until afterwards when that baby is born. Well, they won't be quiet. What happened while you were pregnant? They forever shaking. What happened while you were pregnant? Were you comforted? Were you surrounded in a good place? What we do affects that child, that human being that we're giving birth to. And so the brain has a time span now the brain is continuously developing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not an expert, like I explained to them at another situation, that I'm not a neurologist. However, I have done my studies, and the brain continues to develop, even while we've got cells doing this, that, and the other, okay? But as a child, anything that we teach them, if it's bad words, that's part of their brain development. If you're teaching them scriptures, that's part of their development. So in that time frame from womb to 5, it's crucial. Whether a child learns his name is crucial. So we play an important part in our child's development more than social media. I mean, they're sitting up watching whatever they're watching on the little phones. You can be sitting with them reading a book. Take time, and I know that literacy is an issue for some of us. However, Hooked on Phonics worked for me.
Yeah. You see what she just did? It's the commercial slogan too. I
never will forget going to school in Chicago, Illinois. That was part of the program.
Yeah.
They had Hooked on Phonics in the schools. So we need to go back to reading to our children.
I agree.
And if that means that you take 10 minutes before bedtime, take some time to be with your children. Because it's important. And it also builds their nervous system during that time. If you're constantly yelling at them, then they're going to be skittish and off to the side and things of that nature. So one of the things that I do with moms right now is we're working on boundaries and dealing with trauma.
Perfect. I think that's perfect. You mentioned postpartum. It makes me think about the mother's mental health, right? Especially right after birth. Mm-hmm. For someone who's never heard the term postpartum mental health, right? Mm-hmm. What does that include, and what should people be paying attention to?
Mood.
I wanna. Full disclosure. I mean, my listeners know I'm very open about my family and my wife and my daughters and my sons, and my youngest daughter Marley was born with Down syndrome, so she's like a superhero at this point, about to be 5, running the world. All right, but I also noticed, my wife was she was a little different after this particular.
She blamed herself,
and I know, and we're still talking about it now. We talk about it on a regular basis. So this question is extra personal to me. You know what I'm saying? So break it down a little bit. Postpartum mental health.
I experienced postpartum depression myself. My husband noticed it. However, with my son, I tried to hide it, because that's what we do. That's what we do as women. We try to make it seem like we're fine, I'm fine, and I wanted to go back to work. I'm a workaholic. Work is what I do. I came from 2 working parents. They weren't together, but they were 2 working parents.
Understood.
And my husband would have loved for me to be a stay-at-home mom. That's not in me.
You are describing this. Go ahead, keep going.
Okay, I'm sorry. Ms. Wife, please forgive me. But a lot of times it's mood, not feeling like you're doing enough, not feeling like you're what you set out to do is enough. My son was a greedy kid, and so I felt like I wasn't pumping enough. I highly recommend breastfeeding. Breast milk is the best milk, and sometimes you need an extra something to go with that milk. Mm-hmm. And so for my son, he started doing, he had to go on to the regular milk, and for me, that made me feel bad because I'm like, I know I have enough. I know I have what my son needs, but he was a greedy baby, and so, and it didn't help any that I had one of those, the old school pumps where you had to do it with your foot. So I'm losing calories from pumping milk and from feeding him. And then, extra calories from working out. I wasn't trying to work out, but at the same time, it was I wasn't getting it. And then I wasn't eating enough.
Oh, yeah.
I had to explain to a mom the other day. She was like, I eat something in the morning and then I don't eat again until 7 o'clock. Well, what are you doing in between the two feedings? Because you giving out all of you in between there, because baby's eating 10 times a day.
Right.
You know, so telling her, baby, let's get you some Ensure. You know, I know they think the Ensure is for the old folks. Those nutrients and vitamins that's in there is good for mommies too. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's important.
I love it. I love it. It's broken down because that's the thing that people notice, right? But not the thing that we care to try to help with is the mood. But that's what everybody, you notice everyone's mood first.
Let me add something in there.
Yeah.
It's very crucial on how you address it, because you can come at it and be like, oh, you got an attitude. And she been at home doing this, that, and the third, and then trying to accomplish 15 and only accomplish 2. You know, so trying to how you go at it is very crucial. You know, if husbands can say, okay, well, I'm coming in the house. Well, oh, we didn't fold clothes today. Well, let me just take this basket in the room and then I can do that real quick. You know, but food is done. Yeah. You know, so she was able to accomplish that. You know, and women are harder on themselves. I mean, we are our first and worst critic. I don't need no help in criticizing Kindra. You know, but overcoming that and using self-love, and maybe some flowers every now and then, or whatever that favorite perfume is. You know, I was just out and about and I thought about you, babe. You know, because there's a lot. There's a lot on moms and there's a lot on dads, you know, especially when you're trying to build something together.
Miss Kindra got game. She is.
No, I got wisdom.
She got
I've
wisdom.
been married 27 years and don't mind telling the next person that's trying to make it to that 27.
See, but people got to be ready to listen.
And obey.
Yeah. And ain't nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with saying you're wrong either.
Especially if you say you want something different. You got to be prepared to do something different.
But I will definitely say, let me not leave this out. I would not have what I have if it wasn't for God.
Yes, ma'am.
If I didn't have him in my life, my husband having him in his life, we probably would have separated that first year.
Look at that. And
but God.
My wife and I are on year 11, in year 11. So, but God.
That's the make or break season.
Okay.
7 through 11, that's the make or break season.
Those are our numbers. I know she heard that. Okay. So Diva Moms.
Yes.
Community seems to be a big part of Diva Moms.
Yes. I believe in partnership. I believe in having people, if you have a program and I'm doing the class here, this program, your people are welcome to come to. I'm not trying to steal anybody's patience. There's enough women out here that's pregnant for all of us to have somebody to talk to. I just want to give information. I love teaching.
So that giving spirit kind of keeps us, moving. And I know you say you love, teaching, you giving back. Before I let you out of here, there's a question about, first of all, I want to know, how can listeners learn more about Diva Moms, and if there was anything that a listener or anybody could do to help Diva Moms out, what would that be? So first, how can we learn more, and then what would that be?
Diva Moms of St. Paul is our Facebook page. mncare.org/Diva Moms, or under our birth information prenatal department, you can find Diva Mom somewhere on the website.
Okay.
And as far as how people can contact, you can get my phone number, the Diva Line phone number.
Diva Line.
Diva Line. Diva has their own phone. It is 651-202-1116. Feel free to call or text, or even the email, divamoms@mncare.org.
Diva Line.
Yes, we have a Diva line.
I like that.
Absolutely. Call or text any questions or want to know when the program, when I'm having classes. I've got some nutritional classes coming up on Mondays of next week or next month, April. And then I'll have some co-parenting classes coming soon. I always have childbirth education going on. We also have crib classes, safe sleep classes going on. I'm missing one. It is not birth control. It is birth control. You know, and I know we don't want to call it birth control anymore, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You know, because there's quite a bit going on. Yes.
All right. What about that second question?
The second question, if there was something that I would want somebody to do for Diva Moms, because I'm always mobile. Sometimes I do home visits. And in those home visits, I'm meeting moms where they are. They've just had that baby. So a lot of times I'm carrying in and out different items. I would love a funder to come and say, here is your tricked out Diva Moms mobile. This is your Diva mobile. You know, with my logo on the side of it, my African mom with her afro. I would love a Diva mobile with the works. I mean, everything that I use, from diapers, wipes, things that moms need when they leave in the hospital. You know, the bundles of love that I get from a place.
Look at that.
I would love to have my mobile just with everything that I use in it.
So, yeah, if you know somebody, hit the Diva line.
Absolutely.
Hit the Diva line. Hit up Miss Kindra. I'm extra happy when we have these connections, because now I have your information. You're a part of the family. You're a resource. So I'm going to have people drop my name every now and then. Like, I talked to Mike from For the Culture. I heard you on the radio or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So,
I hope I didn't offend anybody.
Nah.
But we're in it for the culture, and our culture needs to change.
Hello.
We need to, I don't want to say adapt, but to a degree, we just need to break some of the normal cultures. Things that we normally do, we need to break those.
I agree.
You know, and they're not generational curses. They're just generational things that we are accustomed to, and we just need to grow. It's growing time. It's growing time.
We do need to grow.
It's growing time.
We do need to grow. All right. I thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I got like... It's gonna be a nice show today. I got some more interviews. I'm not gonna tell y'all too much, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to you, Miss Kindra McGee, 98.9 FM radio for all. Hold on, I got this one thing. You can hear a recording of this show at littlemomentscount.org/podcast. If you'd like to learn more about Little Moments Count, you can visit their website at littlemomentscount.org. I always also archive my shows, so if you want to hear it, let me know, and I got you. All right, Miss Kindra, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Big Mike.
Hey, I got Mr. and Big Mike at the same time. 98.9.
And blessings to your wife.
And blessings to you and your family as well.
Thank you.
All right, peace.
Thanks for listening to the Little Moments Count radio podcast in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. You can find the Little Moments Count radio podcast wherever you get your podcasts and at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.